Hey, real quick, before we dive into today's episode, if you've been feeling like your brand needs a little love, but you're not quite sure where to start, I have just the tool you need. The Standout Brand Audit Bot is an AI-powered guided audit that shows you exactly what's working, what's not, and how to strengthen your brand using my proven Standout brand system. In 10 minutes or less, you'll walk away with clear next steps to move your brand forward with purpose. It's completely free. Just head to the show notes to grab the link and get started. I talk a lot on this podcast about things that I think we don't talk about enough in online business. And a huge one of those is owning our successes. It's so funny because we are very quick to post when things are hard, when we're struggling, when we're burnt out, when we're confused, when we're in the middle of the mess. But when something good happens, we hold it close to our chest and we get quiet. Not because we're not proud, but because we don't want to seem braggy or arrogant or like we're rubbing it in, and we worry that people will roll their eyes or think we're being fake or out of touch, or that we're going to hurt somebody's feelings because we're doing well but they're struggling. But you have worked really freaking hard for every single win that you've had in your business, and you deserve to be proud of that. So today's episode is a little heart-to-heart reminder that you are allowed and encouraged to celebrate yourself. You should be proud of the things that you've accomplished, no matter how big or small. And honestly, sharing those wins might be exactly what somebody else needs to hear right now, because business is really hard, and celebrating your successes does not make you arrogant. It makes you human. Welcome to the Six Figure Brand Podcast, where each week we're pulling back the curtain on what it really takes to build a six-figure business as an online service provider. I'm your host, Morgan. I'm a branding expert, online agency owner, mom of two, and military spouse, and I'm obsessed with helping entrepreneurs like you understand the ins and outs of branding so that you can use it to grow your business without sacrificing your sanity. Whether you're just starting out or focused on scaling, we're diving into everything you need to build a profitable and sustainable online business. Let's get to it. A lot of us have been conditioned to believe that if we talk about our wins, we're bragging, or we're being self-centered, or arrogant, or we're attention-seeking, or fill in the blank with whatever you'd like. And there's also this kind of unspoken online business guilt that creeps in, like if you're doing well, you should keep it to yourself because you don't want to make anyone else feel bad. Or the opposite, the fear that people will think you're lying or exaggerating because they've seen too many fake overnight success stories online. So no matter what you do, you can't win. Instead, we overcorrect, we underplay things, we say, oh, it's not a big deal, I just got lucky, it wasn't that hard, and really undercut our own successes. But the reality is that it was hard. You've poured your time, your energy, your heart into this business, you've built something from nothing, and downplaying that doesn't really make you humble. It just kind of robs you of the chance to feel proud of what you've created. If you wouldn't hesitate to celebrate with a friend for the same achievement, why would you hold back on celebrating for yourself? And on the point of celebrating, it can feel like celebrating yourself is really just like a big ego boost, but it's about acknowledging that, hey, I've worked hard for this and it's paying off, and it's cool to be proud of yourself. When you allow yourself to celebrate, it reinforces self-trust and it helps you build that momentum so you can keep doing cool things that you're proud of, because you start to believe, oh, okay, I did this once, I can do it again. Without pausing to acknowledge your process, entrepreneurship can feel like an endless treadmill that you are always chasing the next goal and not taking any of the time to appreciate how far you've come. And let me tell you, I know this from experience. I've told the story on the podcast about how I didn't realize that I had my biggest month ever in business in July of 2019 until several months later, because I was so busy just trying to keep up on the treadmill that I didn't even check my bank account or my sales to realize, oh my gosh, I just hit a huge milestone. Also, your wins don't have to be massive to be worth celebrating. Signing one really aligned client, or finishing a project you're super proud of, or hitting some sort of consistency goal with posting on social media, or even just surviving to the end of a tough week are all things that count. Those all are worth celebrating. And I can promise you that your community want to celebrate with you. Those moments matter because they remind you why you started. And those little wins are what keep you going if you take the time to celebrate and acknowledge them. It's not about shouting from the rooftops, hey, look at me, look how amazing I am. It's about letting yourself look around and say, wow, I built this and this is really cool. I want to take a second to just really blatantly call out what I like to call rain cloud culture of online business. Social media always, and especially right now, feels really heavy. If you scroll through Threads or TikTok for 2 seconds, there is so much Debbie Downer stuff. Business is slow. Everything's changing. I'm exhausted. The world's on fire. Blah, 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 blah. And I think that those conversations are important. I think everyone's allowed to vet. People are allowed to use their social media for whatever purpose they want. And it's healthy and important for us to have safe spaces to be really real and authentic about the hard stuff. I'm 10,000% on board with that. And if that's all we share, then one, it paints a really one-sided picture of what entrepreneurship looks like. And two, you just get stuck in the rut of looking at everything so negatively and frankly, just always finding something to complain about. Because if you are looking for something to complain about, you will always find something to complain about. That constant negativity can really trick you into thinking everyone's struggling or success isn't possible anymore. And that's why it's so important for us to balance that narrative to show that, yes, business is a struggle a lot of the time. And it can also be really amazing and exciting and fulfilling and easy some of the time. So sharing your wins can be a tool to give other people hope and remind them of what's possible. I can't tell you how many times I've been having a hard day or struggling with my business and a friend or even somebody that I don't know post about something really cool that happened to them or a big goal they met or whatever, and being able to just send them a like or a congrats or whatever not only cheers me up because I feel like I'm sharing in someone else's success, but it reminds me that, hey, that's possible for me too. We need more proof that good things still happen in this space, and it's okay for us to talk about them. I want to share a short but really specific story about how this not wanting to celebrate our wins publicly has showed up for me this year. So in July, I purchased a new vehicle and it was super exciting. It was something that I had been working towards for years. It is my dream car. It's a huge personal milestone for me and a big symbol of growth and what my work on my business has provided for myself and my family. And whenever I went to go pick it up from the dealership and drive it home, I was like a highlight of my life. But I didn't want to share about it online. I mentioned it in a few emails and some social posts, kind of in like a storytelling way. But I really did not feel comfortable sharing like a photo of me with my new car and saying, hey, look, Mom, I made it. Because I was afraid that people would think that I was bragging or being performative, or this is a really hyper-specific one that people would think, oh, well, her husband must have paid for that for her or something, which is so dumb. Like, no one has ever given me a reason to think that, but those are the stories that we make up in our head. And I know that my audience would have been excited for me. They are the type of people that want to celebrate others, which is kind of when it hit me a little bit. And when I got the idea for this episode, that if me, someone who regards myself as fairly confident, grounded, self-aware, still struggles to celebrate such a huge win, everyone else has to be doing the same thing. And that was a big wake-up call for me that, hey, not only do I need to celebrate my own successes, I need to help encourage everyone else to celebrate theirs. So that's what we're doing today. I think this fear of people thinking that we're selfish or not humble or ungrateful or whatever is just so silly. You can be proud of yourself and really stoked about your accomplishments and also grateful and humble and selfless at the same time. Those things can coexist. So I think that it is due time for us to reframe what it means to own our success in the online space. It's not about showing off. It's about sharing the truth. And sometimes that truth is that business is hard. And sometimes that truth is that you kicked butt and you have something huge worth celebrating and your people want to hear about it. It's saying, I worked really hard for this and I deserve a pat on the back, full stop. When you celebrate your wins, you are not only validating your own effort, which is so, so, so important, especially as women and moms and all of the things that we just don't do enough in our lives, but you're also modeling what's possible for others. You have no idea how many people are following you silently and thinking, oh, I hope I have a business like hers one day. So somebody will see your post or hear your story and think, oh, wow, if she could do that, I bet I could too. And what an amazing impact to have on another person. There's also a lot of power in remembering that success is not always financial. So for me, lately, it was buying a car. And yes, that is financial. But I have also had wins that are noticing that I've shifted my mindset around something and being like, wow, that would have been so much more difficult for me to navigate or would have hit me harder before. And now I've grown mentally and I have the tools to handle that. Finally saying no to clients who are not a good fit, taking a break when you need one, or finally just feeling at peace in your business for the first time in a long time. Success looks different for everyone, and all of it, no matter how big or small, deserves to be celebrated. Entrepreneurship is one of the hardest things that we will do in our life. And when something goes wrong, I think we deserve to be able to vent about it. But I also think that when something goes right, we deserve to celebrate it. The people who matter most will be happy for you. And if they're not happy or they think that you're bragging or any of those negative thoughts, then those are not your people anyway. So that is a bless and release situation. Acknowledging your own hard work is not bragging. And by sharing your wins, you're adding a little more light to a space that sometimes feels pretty dark and pretty heavy. So my reminder for you is that you are allowed to take up space in your own story. You've earned it. You don't need to justify it. And your people want to celebrate your wins with you. So we need more people who are celebrating what's going right and not just lasering in on what's going wrong and then minimizing our own successes. So if you've had a win recently, no matter how big or small, whether it's I finally got my kids to preschool on time or I booked a $10,000 client or anything in between, DM me on Instagram and tell me about it. I would love, love, love to celebrate with you. Thanks for tuning in to the Six Figure Brand Podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to rate the show and leave a review on whatever app you're listening on. And as a thank you, I'll send you coffee on me. Yes, I'm serious. As a smaller show for now, you taking the time to do this makes a huge impact on how we can reach more people and how I can continue to create this content for free. When you take a screenshot of your review, follow and tag me on Instagram at @SpectandCo. I'll send you a $5 Starbucks gift card. As always, don't forget to check out the show notes for any links or resources I mentioned during the episode. Thanks again for listening, and I'll catch you next week.